Hi everyone, I'm Dana Shibley with Verifyle. Here are 10 tips in 10 minutes for Verifyle users. If you're not familiar at all with Verifyle, then we suggest that you first go to YouTube, type in Verifyle Overview, and watch either the quick 8-minute overview video of Verifyle or the detailed 59-minute video. All of you, as members of ncpeFellowship, should know that you have access to the premium version of Verifyle, which is Verifyle Pro, at no charge to you or anyone at all with whom you'd like to share information. Tip number 1, raise your situational awareness by using timing indicators. Here you can see that I'm working inside of the tax planning workspace thread, inside of the overall workspace called Client Christine Carson. And in the tax planning workspace thread, I'm communicating with Sammy Spouse and Christine Carson. If I click on Sammy Spouse's name, I can see that he has not yet viewed the content inside of this workspace thread. If I click on Christine Carson's name, I can see that she last viewed this content on Tuesday, February 4th at 7:37 a.m. Similarly, I can go to the Documents column, hover over any document, click on the gear symbol, and then click on View History, and I can see here that Sammy Spouse has not yet viewed this particular document, 1099 DIV, but Christine Carson has viewed this document 5 times. I can click here and I can see the exact dates and times that Christine Carson looked at this document, giving me a sense for the intensity of her interest in this particular document, and also an idea about how fresh this information might be in her mind. Tip number 2, when to use private messages versus workspace threads. If I click on the Contacts tab, I can see my list of contacts inside of Verifyle, and I can click on any one of them, like Christine Carson, and I can immediately see the private messages area. Private messages are a way for me to have a quick, easy, secure, one-to-one communication with any of my contacts. And not only are the private messages available inside of the contacts area, I can also access them from inside of workspaces. For example, one particular workspace is called Client Christine Carson. If I click on it, I can see inside of the Client Christine Carson workspace that I have a couple of workspace threads. In each of these workspace threads, I can see there are a number of people, including Christine Carson as a participant, for example, in this estate planning workspace thread. Because Christine Carson is a participant in this workspace thread, the Verifyle system has automatically added Christine Carson's name to the guests area here. And at any time, I can click on Christine's name, and there again is the private message, which I started in the contacts area, and where I can continue to have a secure one-to-one communication with Christine Carson. But the reason we started working inside of this workspace, Client Christine Carson, in the first place was so that we could take advantage of the power of workspace threads. For example, estate planning, where I'm now communicating with 3 other people at the same time. And I have the ability to remove any of these individuals anytime that I would like to, or even add other individuals. I also have the ability to remove any documents anytime that I would like to. And I can add other topics in addition to tax planning and estate planning in the form of another workspace thread if I would like to. Those are all things that I can do working inside of a workspace, in this case, Client Christine Carson. Tip number 3, shifting topics. As you can see here, I'm communicating inside of the workspace thread called estate planning. But after dozens or even hundreds of messages back and forth between me and all of these individuals, the topic might start to shift a little bit. No problem. All I need to do is click on the gear symbol here and click on Rename Thread. Okay, so let's say, for example, the conversation is no longer so much about estate planning as it is about succession planning. So I just change the title like that, and now you can see that the title of the workspace thread is Succession Planning. Tip number 4, session management. If I go up to the top right-hand corner of the page, click on my name, and then click on Account Settings, then scroll down to Session Management and click, it is here that I have the ability to use the slider in order to indicate to the Verifyle system the amount of time after which, if I have been inactive in Verifyle, that I should be automatically signed out. So this is a powerful security feature and particularly helpful for those people who sometimes forget to log out of their Verifyle system when they're done using Verifyle. Tip number 5, optimize HOMESCREEN by way of sorting. Here I'm on my home screen and I can see my list of workspaces. If I go near the top right-hand corner of my screen and click on Sort, I have the ability to sort those workspaces alphabetically by workspace name, or also based upon when they were updated. Similarly, I can go over and click on the Contacts tab, then go back to the Sort tab on the right, and I can sort the contacts list by first name alphabetical, or by last name alphabetical, or by update time or recency. Tip number 6, I can also optimize my home screen by way of using archiving. Here you can see my list of workspaces, and it just happens to be the case that project 9195 is pretty much wrapped up, and I don't want to see it right in my line of sight all the time that I'm on the home screen of my Verifyle system. So what I'm going to do is click on the gear symbol and click Archive Workspace. And now you can see that project 9195 is no longer here in the active colored workspaces area. But if I go down and click on Archive, here again, I can see project 9195 in the archived area. And if I'd like to unarchive it, all I need to do is click on the gear symbol and click on Unarchive Workspace. Tip number 7, storage by way of workspace thread. If I click on the workspace, Client Christine Carson, here I can see the guests, here I can see the workspace threads that I've set up in this workspace. And let's say that I'd like to have a place inside of this workspace where I put my own reference materials, not for sharing with anyone else, but just materials I'd like to have at my fingertips whenever I'm thinking about Client Christine Carson. That's easy enough. I just click on the plus symbol next to Workspace Threads, and I'm going to add a workspace thread that I call Reference Materials. Just like that. You see, there's the Reference Materials workspace thread. I can see it up here. No guests have access yet. Why? I'm not going to give any guests access. This information is just for me. So I'm going to click on the paperclip symbol here, and I'm going to add a couple of documents. Let's say that I just go ahead and add in these 2 documents right here, like that. I click Send, and those documents are encrypted as they're pulled into Verifyle, and I can see nobody else has access to this information. This information is just for my reference. It is stored in Verifyle. It is encrypted and archived in Verifyle, if you will, only for me. Tip number 8. What I can also do is I can create a new workspace just for the purposes of storage. I'm going to click on the plus symbol here next to workspaces, and I'm going to type in a new workspace name, Family Health Records. There's the new workspace, Family Health Records. If I click on it, I will now be able to add guest names, which would probably be the names of my family members. And then I would also be able to add workspace threads into this workspace. For example, one workspace thread might be annual checkup reports. Another one might be dental records, and so on and so forth. So I've created a place for all of my family health records to be held securely. Tip number 9, 3 helpful steps for getting started with using Verifyle. A, bulk upload your contacts. You can do that by going to the Contacts tab, clicking on the plus symbol, and instead of entering contact information one by one, You can bulk import contact into Verifyle by using the CSV file format, which is the standard file format for software companies to export and import contact information. There's a nice mini tutorial you can see if you go to YouTube and type in Verifyle contacts that will show you exactly how to do that. B is to send a regular old email to all of your clients, letting them know that from this point forward, you will be communicating with them inside of Verifyle so that their information is safe and secure. And C, put something inside of Verifyle for your clients, which automatically creates an email alert to each of them so they have an immediate reason to respond, and that entry into Verifyle is seamless so that they don't feel like they're going through some type of setup process. And once they're into Verifyle, there's some information inside of there, even if that's just your welcome message, giving them the sense that they're getting a warm reception once they're inside of Verifyle. Nobody likes to go into a new software system and find no information at all waiting inside of there for them. Finally, tip number 10, don't put all of your clients in a single workspace. We've found that best practice in your industry is to have a single workspace for each of your clients. Those are your 10 tips. Thank you.